florid, make my oratory torrid when I preach on the devil and the communists. Let me pace across the stage like a silk-suited animal in a cage. Make me a televangelist.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Atheist Experience. I'm Matt Dillahunty. Joining me this week, Martin Wagner. We're getting. Hey, this is Nick.
Yes.
In Maryland.
Yes. I just had kind of a quick, kind of personal question. I was born in a Catholic family, and while in high school, I had to go through the whole CCD thing, and my mom basically forced me to get confirmed. But you know, in the past couple of years, I came out and said I was an atheist, and it's really been hurting the relationship between a couple of my siblings, and especially my mom, to the point where this past week when I was visiting home, and it came up that she said that she didn't even want to hear the word atheist. And I was just kind of wondering what your opinion or advice would be on helping to make it so that it doesn't, my relationship with my family doesn't degenerate further.
Did you tell her you didn't want to hear the word God?
No.
I didn't either. I just got back from visiting with family, and of course, actually it was mostly great. Had a good time, and I'm not going to go talking trash about my family, but there was some there were some comments made that were pro-religious, anti-atheist, or I guess more anti-sin from their perspective. I don't know, but you know, I keep saying that. You know, now I can be honest about who I am, and I don't have to hide anything, and I don't have to sit quietly in the corner and keep my mouth shut. And yet, for the most part, I still find that I'm now, instead of nodding and smiling and sitting quietly, now I just shake my head and walk away. It's still their house. I'm not going to be, you know, disrespectful or an ass in their house, but there are limits when you start talking about, you know, things that I think are just crazy. I mean, and I don't mean to offend any religious people that are out there, although I will, and I have done every week that I've been on this show, I'm sure. But I'm not saying that religious people are crazy. I'm saying, you know, I think that there are some people who there may even be somebody there who has a really good reason for believing. And if so, feel free to call in and tell us what it is. But there are some things that some particular people believe that I think are just absolutely nuts. This idea that you are somehow so special in the eyes of your God that he's going to punish other people for being mean to you, or that he's going to answer your prayer for rain and ignore the farmer who lives across the street who's wanting it to stop raining because it's flooding out his field. That kind of colossal arrogance.
Well, yeah, it's incredibly amusing every time you tune in some stupid television show and there's some vapid pop singer up there accepting an award, thanking God for it.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm the creator of the universe, and he really gives a damn about my career. Oh, I'll just stop creating this galaxy here for a few minutes just to make sure that your crappy CD shoots to #1, and you can thank me later. Yeah. This whole thing, that's what really is at the key of religion. At the core of it all, it's this whole attitude of it's all about me.
Yeah.
Everything's all about me when you're religious. You know,
and it's a lot of posturing, too. I mean, I noticed a lot of those...
No, it's not about me, it's about God. But God is just a projected self-image of the believer.
Oh, yeah.
That's really all that God is.
That's why, I mean, Christianity is as easy as it comes. I mean, you know, it's based, and I realize that you didn't necessarily, I mean, you're talking about Catholics, but Christianity, for the most part, is based on just you believe, and therefore you're gifted something. You don't have to do it. It'd be nice if you did good things, but you don't have to. You can be a shit your whole life and still get, you know, ushered in because you were part of the club, the special club. And that allows people to go up and do all kinds of posturing. And you'll see, I mean, preachers will complain about it, too. You'll have the rapper who'll get up there and thank Jesus and all his hoes in the hood, you know, for helping him get to the top when neither one of them really had anything to do with it. You should be thanking the record company execs and the marketing campaign, I guess. But we're way off track.
Yeah, we're kind of getting...
You were talking about dealing with I don't have any good advice, which is probably why we got way off track.
Yeah.
I wish I did, and your family's going to be different from everybody else's.
Yeah, all I could suggest in that regard is to say, look, I understand that this upsets you, and I'm sorry about it, but it's who I am, and if you ever want to ask me any questions, feel free, because you know you're my family and I love you, and so I'm not going to turn against you just because I don't share the same beliefs that you have, and I would hope that you would feel the same way towards me, and just be willing to talk about your decision to be an unbeliever, and answer any questions that they might have. They're being the unreceptive ones, and that's because they have this religious belief that is really, when you get right down to brass tacks, it's all about kind of fear and insecurity. You don't have that, so you can be the open, magnanimous one, willing to be receptive to the family that right now is kind of scared of you, or scared of what they think you've become. Once they realize that you're not really any different of a person, you're still the same family member they've always had, you've just decided to jettison religion from your life, they may, who knows, they may come around, they may not. I have a rather strange relationship with my parents in that the whole religion thing is just kind of a thing we agree not to talk about in an unspoken way. My mother really, genuinely, truly believes in these places called heaven and hell that you go to after you die in some form. And it is a great source of profound emotional trauma to her to contemplate the idea that her little boy is going to burn forever in hell, which, for my part, is just chalks up just one more reason for me to be incredibly resentful towards Christianity, because it has installed this completely unnecessary, gratuitous fear in her life, this source of, emotion that she simply doesn't need. But I just don't bring the subject up. We don't bring it up with each other. She doesn't have to kind of experience those emotions, and and that's where it sits. It is a shame but it's a shame that religion does that. That's what religion does. It divides people. And so you can be as atheists, we're in a better position to be the one willing to and able to bridge that divide than a believer is. So that's my take.
Can I ask you something real quick, Nick? Do your parents or whoever the believers are that you're having conflict with, do they give any reason for why they believe in a God?
No.
Okay.
Kind of when I try to go down that road, it turns into I don't want to talk about this. You're wrong. If you don't change, you're going to go to hell kind of thing.
Yeah, it's rare that you'll find anybody who says that they believe for rational reasons. I mean, they may start that way. I mean, even some of the more popular apologists will start that way. And then when you get them narrowed down, eventually they're backed into a corner where it becomes a faith thing, or it becomes well, I've had experiences and I've felt God's presence in my life, and therefore God has revealed himself to me, and I know that it is true, even if I can't demonstrate it to you. That's where you normally get them to get back to. And if the conversation comes up, and it may be better just to love them and keep showing them that you're pretty much the same kid that they raised, that they've always known and loved, and that you're not going to be swayed just because somebody's trying to guilt trip you, or that the very fact that they're feeling distraught over this is just one more nail in the coffin for their religion in your eyes. But if you get them to the point where they're willing to say that this is an experiential thing for them, as I was able to do when they were unable to make any headway through the various logical fallacies and versions of Pascal's wager that they threw my way, I basically said, look, you believe that there is a God, and you believe that this God wants me to be saved and go up to heaven. And the reason you believe all this is because God has specifically revealed it to you. You are sure because you've had some experience. Then the best thing you could ever do is stop preaching at me and stop arguing with me over silly things and logical fallacies, and start praying that your God would reveal himself to me. Because if it ever happens, it's not like I'm going to go, oh, you don't exist. I might say, oh, you're an ass, and you've got some explaining to do, and I'm not going to worship you. That's a separate question. Belief in whether or not you're going to, become a follower they're two different issues. But I'm not going to deny the existence of something. Now, what I would do is say that, okay, if this God revealed himself to me, it would be a case of, okay, now I've had this experience that I can't necessarily explain, but for whatever reason, I'm convinced that there is a God. I may not be a fan of his, but I can't prove it to anybody else, and I couldn't possibly expect anybody else to believe as well until they've had a similar experience. I mean, I'm not sure I can come up with a good analogy for it, but I mean, if their basis, like many Christians when backed into that faith corner, is that they've had experience that they are convinced is a God, then, well, you haven't had that experience. And until you do, they should not expect you to believe as they do.
Today, make me flashy, make me florid, make my oratory torrid.